A Florida woman who participated in a multi-million-dollar scheme against the state of Maine will serve 6 months behind bars. 70-year-old Melanie High was sentenced in a Bangor courtroom today after pleading guilty to theft and bribery in November. High is a business owner who took $2.4 million in payments on a state credit card from Maine Department of Corrections administrator. Some of the goods were purchased at an inflated price while others were never delivered. High then paid the administrator, Gerald Merrill, $500,000 in kickbacks. High, who cooperated fully with the investigation, spoke in court today, saying she's deeply ashamed of her actions. She's already repaid $25,000 of the $100,000 she faces in restitution.
I want to begin by saying I am truly sorry. I take full responsibility for my actions and I regret the decisions I've made. I understand the seriousness of the situation and the impact it's had. I wish I had made different choices.
A judge sentenced Merrill last month to 5 years in prison plus $500,000 restitution. He's currently serving his sentence in New Hampshire.